This could be an outlier, a less important denotation in your chart, but could be a differentiating factor in the areas that you want to focus on, in the areas that you want to make your main gaze on. Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan. Once more with you from your very own channel, Astro. We have been doing a number of placements of the Lagna Lord, the Nakshatra Lord and so on. So many variations, so many varieties we have been able to do. But one of the things that I have observed and I also got some feedback on it is the placement of the Lagna Nakshatra Lord. Here I am not talking about the Lagna Lord, here I am not talking about the Nakshatra Lord. Here I am talking about the Ascendant Nakshatra Lord. The Ascendant or the Lagna, which degree it is in, what Nakshatra lies in it, that's Nakshatra Lord, or in short, or to summarize it, the Ascendant Nakshatra Lord. Now how does it differ from the Lagna Lord or the Nakshatra Lord or the birth Nakshatra Lord? The Lagna Lord is obviously whichever your ascendant has the sign in it, its Lord. So if your ascendant is Taurus, its Lord is Venus, so your ascendant Lord is obviously Venus. If your ascendant is Leo, Leo is ruled by Sun, so Sun becomes your Lagna Lord or the ascendant Lord. Now whichever sign Moon is placed in, so that sign will have nakshatras, two or more than two nakshatras, generally more than two nakshatras, or some parts of the third nakshatra. So whichever nakshatra the moon lies in, that's Lord is the birth nakshatra Lord, and sometimes also called the Rasi Lord. Sometimes people confuse between the Rasi Lord and the Lagna Lord or the Ascendant Lord. So these are the two important, very important lords in your horoscope: the Lagna Lord, the Ascendant Lord, whichever is the ruling sign or the ascendant sign or the rising sign in your horoscope, and the second is the Nakshatra Lord, the birth Nakshatra Lord, or the Nakshatra in which the moon lies at the time of your birth. However, the third important, very important denotation is sometimes which is not given enough importance or enough focus, is the Ascendant Nakshatra Lord. So whichever degree your ascendant lies in, that will have a certain Nakshatra energies. That Nakshatra's Lord is your Ascendant Nakshatra Lord or the Lagna Nakshatra Lord. So today I want to focus on this area. Now long back, very long back, ages back, I have already done a video on that. I think the topic is, when does your Ascendant Nakshatra Lord become the most important in your horoscope? So you might look it up in my channel, do a search, go into the playlist, you may get it. Or I'll try and see if I can give you a link below. So I did it long back, and in between here and there I have focused on it, but today I want to make a video on that so that we are able to focus on the important areas of life and the less obvious or the less focused areas of life which are important, may not be as important as the Lagna Lord or the birth Nakshatra Lord, but important enough, specifically on the area if you are focusing on it. So for example, if the Ascendant Nakshatra Lord is related to finance, money, and our focus in life has been money, then the Ascendant Nakshatra Lord obviously becomes important. For instance, if somebody is focusing on artistic opportunities, or they are an artist, they are performers, and they want to focus on those areas, then obviously if the Ascendant Nakshatra Lord is also the ruler of the fifth sign or is placed in the fifth house, then it becomes important. So wherever the Ascendant Nakshatra Lord, which sign it rules and where it is placed, will also play an important role, because that house becomes very important for the ascendant's growth, because you are the Ascendant Nakshatra Lord. Now what is a nakshatra? The nakshatra is one of the finest denotation of a placement, because a sign is 30 degrees. Within a sign you may have at least one nakshatra completely within the sign, and you may have an overlap of two nakshatras, or sometimes two nakshatras will completely be in one sign and there will be an overlap of one pada of the third one. For example, Aries, Leo and Sagittarius will have two nakshatras completely within them and one pada of the third nakshatra or the following nakshatra. So it's important for us to understand which is the ascendant nakshatra lord, which signs it rules in the horoscope, and where it's its placement. Because that sign will obviously be in a particular house. That house becomes important. That house's denotation becomes important, and the placement of the ascendant nakshatra lord becomes important. So I want to give you certain examples because of which you may be able to understand how this works out better. So firstly, what does the Lagna Lord denote? The Lagna Lord denotes what are your goals, or what determines your goals, what are the energies which are ruling your goals in life, what is the denotation of your stature in life, what kind of stature you may be able to obtain, what kind of health you may be able to obtain. So the Lagna Lord's dignity will also give you the goals, the stature, the health that you may be able to acquire, or where you need to acquire, where you need to be able to focus your energies. If Mars is the Lagna Lord, obviously you will be having more energy if health is your concern. If Saturn is your Lagna Lord and health is your concern, then only with a lot of effort, committed effort, disciplined effort, then only you will get effort. So there are connotations or denotations to which is your Lagna Lord, this is what is your goal. So your effort, your challenges, your gains will all be decided from where the Lagna Lord is placed, its dignity is. Now what is the role of the birth nakshatra lord? The birth nakshatra lord gives you your thinking, because what is the birth nakshatra? Where the moon is placed, in which nakshatra. So moon's energy is combining with the birth nakshatra lord's energy here. So moon is about your manas, so your thinking, your focus, your emotions, and a lot of times, or most often than not, our emotions also guide our decisions. We think even the most practical person, the final decision will always be based on how you are able to see that, or what you are able to think. What your emotions are about that, or in short, how you feel about the decision. If a decision seems to be okay and you feel good about it after looking at all the practical areas, then you go ahead with it. If everything feels to be good, logically, intellectually, all the data also points you towards a certain decision, however, you don't feel very good about it, then you hesitate, you try to find excuses, and sometimes you may not go on that trajectory, you may not go in that direction. So the birth nakshatra lord is also your emotions, your attachments, and your happiness. So if you're not happy with the decision, you're not satisfied with the decision, you are not able to find peace if you take the decision, then why would you take the decision? Or if you take the decision, you will always be in this, what if something goes wrong? There will always be this fear, there will always be these emotions, these frustrations, which may get the better of you. So moon or the birth nakshatra lord becomes important. So where does the Lagna nakshatra lord play its part? The Lagna nakshatra lord or the ascendant nakshatra lord plays a part in which degree the ascendant lies in, and that determines the nakshatra, obviously, that we spoke about, and so which is the particular nakshatra lord placement. So the ascendant nakshatra lord plays an important role in which sign it rules. So if the ascendant nakshatra lord rules a particular sign, if it's sun, it rules sign, the Leo sign, whichever house Leo sign is placed in, that house, its denotation will become very, very important, and sun's placement becomes very important. So let's take an example. So if the ascendant or the Lagna is Aries, okay, and if the ascendant is between 0 degrees and 13.2 degrees, then it lies in the first nakshatra, the Ashwini nakshatra, and its lord is Ketu, okay. But if it's between 13.2 and 26.4 within Aries, then it falls in the second nakshatra, which is Bharani, and here its lord Venus becomes very important. But say for example, it is between 26.4 to 30 degrees, the last 3.2 degrees, then that nakshatra is the first pada of Kritika, and the ascendant nakshatra lord then becomes the ruler of Kritika, which is Sun. So which planet is the ascendant nakshatra lord and which sign the planet rule becomes very, very important. So for example, if the ascendant nakshatra ascendant is in the first 0 to 13 degrees, it is Ashwini, then ruled by Ketu, then Scorpio sign, which Ketu co-rules with Mars, becomes important. So for Aries ascendant native, Scorpio sign is the 8th house, that becomes very important. 8th house effects will become very important. 8th house areas will become very important for both gains as well as where you will find the transformation in your life where you will find the changes in your life, overcoming of the obstacles in life to be able to make gains becomes important. Now, if it is Venus, for example, instead of Ketu, if it's Venus, for example, and here I'm continuing with the Aries example just to be make it simple. So, if the ascendant is Aries and the nakshatra is Bharani, because the ascendant degree is between 13.2 to 26.4, then the ascendant nakshatra is Bharani ruled by Venus. Then the signs Taurus and Libra become very important because Venus rules Taurus sign and the Libra sign. But if it's lying between 26.4 and 30 degrees, then the first pada of Kritika, which lies within the Aries sign, becomes important, and Kritika nakshatra is ruled by Sun. Then Sun sign Leo, which Sun rules, becomes very important. So what is important is we need to see the number of houses the ascendant nakshatra lord's ruling house is placed away, which means that if, for example, because we're talking about Aries ascendant native, if the Lagna is at 29 degrees, then the ascendant nakshatra is Kritika ruled by Sun. So which sign Sun rules? Leo sign. How many signs away is Leo sign from the Aries sign? 5 houses away. So this is the good placement for an Aries ascendant native because it has gone into the Kritika nakshatra, and the 5th house is getting activated because the ascendant nakshatra lord rules the 5th house. So this is the gain making placement. So gains connected to the 5th house are important. Gains from the 5th house will come through, will be easy. But it may also be that artistic denotation of the 5th house, romantic liaisons, children, all of these become important because, and they become easier. They're not easiest, but easier, and there the gains may be quicker and faster. Or they could also be ones which keep your focus most. Why? If the lord of that sign, Sun, goes into a tougher house, and here Sun's placement away from the Leo sign is not very important. Sun's placement away from the Lagna becomes very important because the Sun is the ascendant nakshatra lord. So while Sun rules the 5th house of gains, gains will be good. Gains will come from self-effort. Gains may come from taking leadership. Gains may come from taking ownership, even from artistic pursuits. However, where Sun is placed will also become will have an important role. So, say for example, if Sun goes into the 8th house, then gains may still come in from self-effort, from leadership, taking ownership. However, now it will be replete with obstacles, challenges which you face every now and then, sudden issues or the issue related to the 8th house. Gains may also come from the 8th house, but the gains will come only when you overcome obstacles, when you have a transformation, when you look at things or areas of the 8th house or life itself differently. If, however, the ascendant degree in the Lagna of Aries is, say for example, 20 degrees, which means it is between 13.2 and 26.4, then the ascendant nakshatra is Bharani and Venus becomes the ascendant nakshatra lord. Venus here in this particular case rules the 2nd house and the 7th house. So here livelihood, gains, savings, dependence and relations become very, very important, or they become or remain in focus. For the person to feel I'm successful, I've been able to achieve something, because it is the ascendant nakshatra lord, and ascendant is about achievements, gains, your goals and so forth, some part of it surely. So financial security becomes important to the person, taking care of dependent becomes very important, values are important, and to earn a better livelihood and to grow there, the person has to be known ethical, or ethical conduct becomes very important. And the other thing will be relations, because Venus rules both Taurus as well as Libra. However, where Venus is placed away from the ascendant becomes very, very important, because the results will play out accordingly. So if Venus is placed, say for example, in the 9th house, then the livelihood may come from higher education, because Venus rules the 2nd house and Taurus sign is the sign of money, or through long distance travel, or connected to foreign lands, foreign connections, or ability to form strong bonds or rapport or relations, sometimes across boundaries also. So the number of houses the ascendant nakshatra lord is placed away from the ascendant becomes very important, and the number of houses it is placed away from the ascendant becomes important. So friends, first always give importance to your Lagna Lord and also your birth Nakshatra Lord or the Nakshatra in which the moon lies at the time of your birth. However, don't fail to pay some attention or enough attention. Sometimes in some cases the same amount of attention, because the Ascendant Nakshatra Lord may sometimes help you in matters where the Lagna Lord is getting stuck or the birth Nakshatra Lord is not good, is not so much in good dignity. For instance, sometimes we feel Ascendant Lord or the Nakshatra or the Lagna Lord is very well placed, in good dignity, it may be exalted, it may be placed in the trine houses and so forth. And the birth Nakshatra Lord may also be very well placed, may also be exalted and so forth. However, sometimes we feel or we find, in spite of very good placement of the Lagna Lord, the birth Nakshatra Lord, sometimes still we are not able to get the best of results. And mostly in the areas where we want to focus on or where we want to get the results from. So for a person where if Sun is your Ascendant Nakshatra Lord and Sun rules the 5th house, as in the case of Aries sign, and if the person is pursuing artistic pursuits, if the person is an entertainer, then the 5th house becomes important. But if the person is in service, then the 5th house may not so be very important, because the person is focusing on work or career. Okay, but what kind of results will the person get whenever the person is looking for a change in sign or change in career, change in industry? Then the 5th house will still be important, because Sun rules the 5th house and the 5th house is the 8th house to the 10th house. So those variations will also play a part, so we need to keep in mind what houses the Ascendant Nakshatra Lord rules and where it is placed. It may sometimes get activated during its dasha, antardasha, during its transit, may not all be all the time, but the area which it rules will be in focus throughout your life, especially to gain status, to gain stature, to feel that you're doing very good rather than feel rejected or feel that you are less successful. So friends, do look at where your Ascendant Nakshatra Lord is placed, which dignity it is placed in, how many houses it is placed away from the Ascendant itself, and if it's in some good yogas or doshas or good conjunction, because all of them will also add a flavor to the final result, the finest dissemination that you're getting from your Ascendant Nakshatra Lord. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the link given below. Until some other time, some other video, this is the friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.